So Kirby and the Forbidden West just came out on the Nintendo Switch, and I have been playing it. Um, I want to say that this is the first like 3D Kirby game, right? Like I don't, I think they've all been 2D side scrollers up to this point, and I was definitely excited by the idea of that when I saw, I think, the trailer in one of the Nintendo Directs. I'm not a huge Kirby fan or anything. I've played one game on the DS, Kirby Squeak Squad. Check it out. Great game. Um, but, it's one of the Nintendo franchises that has always, from the outside, seemed like it always just looked kind of samey. Like, okay, it's another Kirby game. It's the franchise that is made for literal babies to be able to be played. Um, and it going into 3D was interesting. So I decided to check it out, and I'm having a really good time with it so far. Now, is it still a game that's kind of made so that babies can play it? Kind of. Even though, like, where I'm at right now, there have been some challenges, like, especially like challenge levels that you can play that are actually like moderately challenging. It's taken me a few tries to beat them, and that stuff is cool. But even in the main gameplay, like, it's not hard by any means, but it's still engaging. Like, there are certain set pieces and stuff that happens that are like entertaining and fun to play. And yeah, but then as far as the gameplay, the core gameplay itself is concerned, it's pretty much the same from what I remember from Kirby Squeak Squad on the DS, but just kind of translated in 3D. You can jump and hover, you can suck people up, and copy their powers. You can, you know, like the powers work pretty much the same as they did in 2D, but in 3D. Which is actually kind of fun to think about, because I remember when you go back to like Super Mario 64, they were like, we can't use the fire flower because how is that going to work in 3D? And then fast forward to like 2022, and his fire ability just kind of works, and his ice ability just kind of works. It all just kind of works in 3D. So from the core gameplay, none of that has really changed. It's just that translated into 3D. Now, what is interesting is that where most of the evolution, I guess, has come from is in the level design, because now it's not just kind of like these 2D environments. Now you're kind of having to go like, okay, how does Kirby move in a 3D environment? And what's interesting about it is that it kind of feels like Super Mario 3D Land. I say 3D Land because I haven't played 3D World yet, but 3D Land, where the levels are small, but they're like well designed. And that's basically what this is. And I think World is more or less the same, but that's what this is. The levels aren't like, Super Mario Odyssey, where you can go around and explore this big land with a bunch of stuff to do. Nope, they are very small and they are focused. But what I like about it as opposed to 3D Land is that it still does feel like an interconnected world, where the levels don't feel like, completely distinct areas. Like, when you're in like a ruined city, the levels are kind of like in a ruined city, and that sort of cohesion actually does help the game feel more grand than it maybe necessarily should. And that stuff is really cool, because a lot of like the levels in like Mario 3D Land, of course, is like very like weird, like abstract areas that you're running around in. The levels kind of feel rooted in, I mean, not reality, but the reality of the game. And so the level design is actually like really cool, the way it all works out. And yeah, I mean, just visually, the game is definitely really pretty. The Switch is definitely old hardware at this point, but it does still prove as an example of how, at the end of the day, like, art style is enough for a game, right? It doesn't need to be 4K, 60 FPS, whatever. Like, it's colorful, it's bright, and it all just kind of comes together to be this really cute, wholesome game. So yeah, Kirby in the Forgotten Land. First impressions, right? I'm about an hour in. I'm really enjoying it. I definitely think it's worth your time. if you like Kirby, I mean, yeah, of course, it's the first 3D Kirby game and it's done well, so you're gonna check it out. But I don't know, maybe you're a hardcore gamer and Elden Ring has been making you want to consider whether or not you want to remain on this earth. Well, play some Kirby, chill out, have some fun, have a good time. So yeah, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Is that even the name of it? I called it Forbidden West. No, I think it is Forgotten Land. It's good. Let me know what you think of it in the comments down below, and goodbye.